I'm John Zimney in the MNC News Center. Welcome to Friday. It is the 13th day of September, 2024. And the news continues now with our top local stories on Michiana's Morning News. Rumors of a murder spread on Facebook after a post claimed 2 women were found decapitated are just that, rumors.
Authorities confirmed the rumor is false and say it's the second time it has circulated. According to WSBT, a post on Facebook said the bodies were found by Gateway Court. The post generated hundreds of comments and shares, reaching the Sturgis Police Department. After investigating, the police found no evidence to support the claims, and the rumor traced back to a person whom they say had spread a similar rumor before, leading the police to believe possible mental health issues may factor in. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
Classes are canceled today for all Benton Harbor schools after multiple fights at the high school led to a lockdown yesterday. To keep students and staff safe, officials have announced that schools will be closed district-wide for students only today. The district will use the time to investigate the incidents at the high school. Police have centered in on a juvenile suspect who they say is behind a social media threat made earlier this week toward Three Rivers schools. That threat led to the district closing all schools yesterday out of an abundance of caution. Well, late last night, another online threat was made, so the district decided to close the schools again today. The Michigan Department of Transportation's announced a traffic pattern change for US 12 and M51.
Starting Friday, traffic on US 12 will shift to the newly completed westbound lanes. M51 will remain open to regular traffic south of Bell Road and north of Fort Street, with one lane in each direction available between Bell Road and Fort Street while work continues. This change is part of a $27 million year-long project to rebuild the intersection of US 12 and M51. Derek Decker, MNC News.
Commissioners have approved the closure of a portion of County Road 142 on the south end of Goshen. The Elkhart County Highway Department recommended an ordinance authorizing only westbound traffic on 142 within a portion of the roadway between County Roads 29 and 42. That change comes as a deteriorated concrete beam that was found on a bridge over the Elkhart River. Expected that bridge will be restricted and under construction for about a year. Turning to the health news file this morning, a new diet pill might be able to reduce body weight by 13% after only 3 months.
The European Association for the Study of Diabetes showed its findings on a new daily weight loss pill from Novo Nordisk, the maker of Wegovy. Early trials showed the rate of weight loss appears to be more rapid than what has been reported from other drugs. The pill has yet to be tested in a head-to-head trial against existing weight loss drugs, and the results of the trials have yet to be published in a peer-reviewed journal. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
The Historic Preservation Commission of South Bend and St. Joseph County is going to be reviewing nominations for the National Register of Historic Places next week.
The J.D. Oliver House and the Bowman Creek Arch Bridge at Lincoln Way East are the 2 properties under review. The commission selects significant buildings, structures, sites, and objects and advocates for their preservation while working on development and redevelopment. The National Register requires the nominations to be reviewed by the commission, which will happen at the next regular meeting on September 16th.
Changes to State Road 2 are coming soon in St. Joseph County with a brand new kind of interchange.
It's called a diverging diamond interchange. What it means is if you are driving east or west on State Road 2, you can just keep going without stopping. However, if you're driving north or south, you'll have to follow the lanes, determining if you have to cross the interchange bridge that will stretch over State Road 2. The goal of the interchange is to keep traffic moving as the GM battery plant and Amazon data facility come into play. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
And the Better Business Bureau has issued another warning about election scammers.
Scammers are turning their efforts to voters as the presidential election gets closer. The Better Business Bureau is warning residents about bad actors impersonating campaigns and nonprofit organizations by playing up to the emotions of voters to steal donations, seek polling information, or gain their financial data. Pollsters should not request your Social Security number or bank account information. Meredith Radford, Senior Communications Specialist for the Better Business Bureau, said as the election nears, you may get an increase of calls, texts, and emails, and urges caution.
If they are pressuring you in any way to donate right now to them before you really have time to think it through and do research and see if it's legitimate, or if they're pressuring you for specific personal information that a poller wouldn't ask for.
Radford added pre-recorded calls from legitimate candidates are exempt from the Do Not Call registry. However, she warned scammers may use voice cloning to impersonate politicians. She advised not answering unknown numbers and letting legitimate callers leave a voicemail. She emphasized if something seems off, follow your gut and report suspected scams to the FTC or the Attorney General's office.
That's Terry D. reporting. They tried, but they didn't succeed. Details now about the latest defeat for the Delphi defense team.
Special Judge Fran Gull has denied the request made by Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen's lawyers this week. If you don't recall, and who could blame you, Allen's lawyers are not allowed to present evidence of Odinism or third-party suspects at trial. They wanted the issue brought to the Court of Appeals, but Judge Gull said no. She also issued another sweeping denial of news media broadcast recordings. Trial remains scheduled for October 14th. Donnie Burgess, Network Indiana.
An Indiana judge has ruled against an abortion provider's request.
Indiana's abortion ban, enacted last year, already allows for abortion exceptions, including for rape or incest victims, and if the health or life of the mother is at risk. Now a district judge denying the ACLU of Indiana and several abortion providers their motion to expand those exceptions to include mental or emotional conditions and to block a hospital-only requirement. The judge ruling that the plaintiffs failed to identify a situation where abortion would fall outside the current law's exceptions and didn't show that abortion is necessary for mental and emotional support. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Speed is said to be a factor in the crash that killed a Mishawaka man. That collision happened around 3:45 Thursday morning on Ash Road between Adams and Anderson in the Granger area. Upon arrival, officers discovered a vehicle left the roadway and crashed into a wooded area. The driver who died has been identified as 24-year-old Charles Perea. No other passengers or vehicles were involved. New this morning on MNC, the Indiana Department of Education presented the state's most recent chronic absenteeism data and unveiled a new attendance insights dashboard to the Indiana State Board of Ed.
The data shows student attendance is improving, with chronic absenteeism improving for the second consecutive year. Overall, Indiana's chronic absenteeism rate for the 2023-2024 school year was 17.8%, meaning nearly 1 in 5 students missed at least 10% of school days, or about 3.5 weeks. This is an improvement of 1.4 percentage points from the previous school year and is more than 3 percentage points better than the post-pandemic high of 21.1%.
A middle school in the South Haven area that went on lockdown earlier this week after the political remarks delivered by a substitute teacher. This happened at Baseline Middle School on Tuesday. The administration received complaints about the sub teacher whose topics reportedly made some of the students uncomfortable. The teacher was dismissed. The school went on lockdown because of remarks made towards somebody who reported the sub. South Haven schools say no threats, though, were made against any students at the time.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies today. High temperatures will be in the low 80s, around 83. Winds out of the east, a little bit breezy at times this afternoon. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We drop down to 62. And then for Saturday, we'll see a mix of the sun and clouds. High temperatures back in the low to middle 80s. We'll be in the middle 80s on Sunday with a mix of the sun and clouds. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
You can cast your vote with confidence by checking out the candidates and their platforms from all the hot races before the November election at the all-new HoosierVote.com. That's sponsored by Shield Exteriors and Burton's Laundry.
Podcasts by Federated Media.